Hello guys, this is Said Ali. In this presentation, I'm going to introduce ARPhysics application. It's a mobile application that aims to make the school textbook more engaging and exciting to K-12 students through using augmented reality. The application introduces a combined approach where students are still getting the benefits of using traditional textbooks and they engage with it as needed through augmented reality. The application utilizes the smart device display, camera, and sensor to overlay the images and diagrams displayed in the textbooks with 3D interactive animating objects, where students interact with the information displayed in the book and experiment it in live simulation. The application can be used in the classroom, home, library, and everywhere else. The application can be beneficial for home students and also the students that don't have access to labs or teaching aids available at education facilities. Also, teachers can use this application in classroom by projecting the mobile device screen on a big screen and explain different experiments. So I am going now to open the app called ARPhysics. So once I open the app, it opens my camera. Here I have a physics textbook for K-12 education. The book name is Physics for IGCSE. Usually it's for students in year 10 to 12. So here I have this experiment called investigating a toy mobile. Once I point the camera to the experiment, the student can visualize the experiment in 3D. This experiment has two objects, A and B, which are on a rule, and the rule is connected to a Newton meter. The student can play around each object to apply the principle of moments and see what is the impact of changing the weight of each object on the rule. So for example, I have here the weight of the object A is 10 Newton. So if I increase its weight, I can see how this impacts the rule, and I can see it moving here. Also, I can move any of the two objects to right and left to see what is the impact also on the rule. So student can use this application to experience the physics experiment at home or inside the classroom or inside the lab in 3D and more engaging way than the 2D figure displayed in the book. So now I am moving the object B to the right, but since its weight is 0, doesn't impact anything. Yeah. The second experiment that I have here is 3 weights on a beam. Also, I point the device to the figure to see the experiment. The setup of this experiment is simple: is one beam and 3 objects on this beam, and this beam is located on the top of a pivot at the center of the beam. The student also should move any of the three objects and adjust their weights and experience the impact of the team of the impact of this change. So here I have this object, its weight 100 Newton. I can increase its weight to see the beam moving. The student can balance the beam and apply the principle of moments to test the equations related to this principle. So here I am going to change the weight of this object as well. I can reduce it or move it right or move it to the left and see how this impacts the move of the pivot. Let's test weight 2. Okay, the third experiment that I have here in the book is measuring the weight of a beam. I point my device to the page to see the experiment. In this experiment I have one object on the beam. The student can adjust the weight of weight 0 or the weight of the beam and the position of the pivot. In this experiment, the student can figure out the weight of the beam from the location of the pivot that makes this beam balanced. So I have to move here. I'm moving the pivot. I can decrease the weight of weight 0 until I reach, sorry, So the application enables the user to understand the setup of each experiment, how to use it, also to try the experiment with different values and apply these values and the equations during using the application. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Thank you very much. Looking forward to your feedback.